The train ride that hopes to thrill you a little and chill you a little. Patience as we pull into Death Station.
Well, hello. This is the Horror Express, and I am your conductor. Please move to car 13 and do watch the Hellhounds. They aren't very well trained, you see. I'm very excited about this 12th edition of the show. It deals with a topic I quite enjoy in my leisure time. Curses. Now move along, and Jason and Ron will join you in the car in a moment. If they can.
Well, hello, guys, and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you guys come join us on the train, and I know that if Jason were... Oh, here he comes. Jason, where have you been?
Oh, I've been over there with those hellhounds and stuff, feeding them stuff.
Jason, you know that they're the most dangerous creature on the planet. Why would you mess with them?
They're fun.
Okay.
Believe me, their bite is worse than their bark.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Did I tell you what happened to Little Grimmel?
No.
Have you seen Little Grimmel lately?
No.
You want to know why?
Yes.
We're waiting for him to be pooped out.
Oh.
Don't play with the hellhounds, man. They're dangerous.
All right.
Well, we're here to do a show today, not talk about our hellhound problem. They run rampant on the train, and well, there was one right now. Did you hear him?
I did.
Yeah, well, they run rampant on the train. They got their fiery smoke coming out of their nose, the red eyes, the whole 9 yards, everything you'd hate to see in a hellhound. That's what they are. So, anyway, Jason, how you been?
I've been pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I actually just finished, if you remember in the last podcast, I was working on a book for a famous celebrity.
Yes.
And I just finished the last draft. Got paid for it.
Congrats.
Which is always nice. And it came out, I think it's going to be a great book. But guess what I can't do?
What's that? Tell me about it? Damn you.
I can tell you this much. The book is more than 70 pages.
Oh, that's cool. So it's more like a full novel then.
Let's just say 70 has something to do with it.
Okay.
That's all I can say at this point. I'll tell you what, though, in about a month I can tell all.
Perfect. Well, we'll have to do another one right around there so we can find out what it is.
Well, I know you've been busy because I visited your website, and you had a picture of an angel that was absolutely amazing. Tell us about that.
Well, yep, that actually has a little bit of a personal meaning to me, and actually I did it about a year ago. I just decided to been sharing out things so if people miss something, they can go out there and see it again, because it's actually a series of 5 pictures, and what it is it's a story that I took about my twin sister that never made it, and
really?
She died. So basically, this is my guardian angel, but because she died, I always felt like something was weird with me and something wrong and something missing. So I felt that that's how she would feel too. And that's why I have it a little bit dark, because of the fact that it's kind of like a little bit of a rogue thing. You know, she's there to protect you, but something, she just feels like she just wasn't wanted, and that's not the case at all. So that's how I portrayed that particular picture to my senses, and how I was portraying how she was feeling and how I was feeling, which actually could be a little bit how she's feeling. I don't know how that all works, but that is kind of my idea. I wanted her to be powerful. I wanted her to be pretty. I wanted her to show the world that she had some worth and that she wasn't as ugly as she thought she was. So that was kind of the meaning behind the whole picture. It actually worked out very well, and I shot that in the broad daylight.
Does not look like it at all.
It's funny because, ironically, when I shot the thing, we were going to go down to this one set of woods, but we realized we couldn't get in there. It's completely shut down, so we had to find something else on the fly. So we went to this one little section there. I found some nasty trees and stuff like that hanging over, and cleared out all the spiders, walked inside there, had her sit down and pose, and the light was shining directly on me, and I'm like, you know something, this is going to either turn out really good or it's going to be a complete waste of time. I didn't do the edits right away. I actually kind of waited on the edits for a little while, but we were going up to Wisconsin for my wife's 20th reunion, and that was where I actually started to work on these photos as we're flying up. It was really weird because I had that weird feeling about, you know, just something not being right. Well, ironically, 3 days after I got back and finished that first picture, my mother-in-law passed away unexpectedly. One of the few pictures she never saw.
Oh, that's too bad. Huh.
So it's got a lot of interesting things in the way that it happened and when it happened. I think it was just meant to be. I love the picture myself. I think it's very powerful. And I hope that other people will see something in it that maybe they can relate to it themselves as well.
Well, what I saw in it was art. I can't say that the feeling you just talked about was conveyed, but what it was for me was a powerful being, a powerful, beautiful being. Mm-hmm. And the darkness, I mistook, maybe it was just my interpretation, as being just this beauty with a little hint of danger.
Well, you got most of it, and that's good. You know, you shouldn't know the whole meaning behind it or get the same thing out of it, because it's different for everybody. But if nobody knows the story about me, they wouldn't have ever been able to pick that up. And that's what I try to do. I try to put out something that I have something similar to inside of it, but I want other people to get their own versions of it. And I love to hear what they have to say and what they get out of it too, because, you know, I might say, wow, okay, well, I wasn't even thinking that, but that's really impressive. I like that. That's cool.
Well, Jason, I believe the Hellhounds are letting us know that it's time to move on to our actual topic for the day.
Yes.
I think that it's one that I'm going to say it. I'm scared to death of this topic. And I worry about, you know, you don't want to tick the person off. You don't want to make someone feel bad because they might curse you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I get cursed out all the time, but I've never been cursed. I don't think so.
Well, let's start with what a curse is. Well, it turns out that it is any expressed wish that some form adversity or misfortune will befall or attach to some entity, person, place, or object. That's what a curse is. So you can curse someone, you can curse an entity, I guess that would be like a ghost. You can curse a place, like the Bermuda Triangle, or an object, like the famous Hope Diamond.
Yes, the Hope Diamond is amazing. I love that. I love the story of that curse.
Yes. So, from what I could tell, there were three major users of curses. Mm-hmm. The first is African American hoodoo. Mm-hmm. And they use what is called the jinx, or conditions. And it was very interesting to me how they curse their individuals. You know, you always see on TV that they say some magical thing. Well, in fact, they use foot track, meaning where you step. And so if you walk across this certain path, you get cursed. And so they like to lay traps, and that the curse is activated as the person walks over it. The problem with that, I would think, is you might accidentally curse someone that doesn't want to be cursed or shouldn't have been cursed.
Right. Or curse themselves by accident.
Or curse themselves. But that's how they use it. And then you have the Middle Eastern Mediterranean culture, which they believe, you ever heard of the term the evil eye?
Yes.
Well, that is how they cast their curses. And there are some things that you can do to protect yourself from the evil eye. You can take a piece of dark blue glass, put a white circle around it and a black dot in the middle, which is reminiscent of a human eye. And if you have that, when someone is trying to shoot you the evil eye and you flash that thing up, no more curse.
Interesting.
But that's how they do it, is with in the Middle Eastern and Mediterranean culture, they use the evil eye. And the last one, which I found very interesting, was the German people. And this includes the Pennsylvania Dutch. They speak of hexing. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the word for witchcraft in German is Hexerei. Hexerei. I am not German, but it's spelled Hexerei. You know, and they are mostly laid by what is called a stable witch, and they caused milk cows to go dry and horses to go lame.
Interesting.
And that's what I came up with in terms of curses. Now, I know you've got something going too, so what have you got for us?
Well, there's a couple of different curses that I'm prepared to talk about, and one of them is the curse of King Tut.
Oh, yes.
I don't take a proactive part of curses because I don't believe in them. What I do believe in is the power of the mind to control the outcome. And if people are cursed, they will panic to the point of believing that they are cursed and can actually kill themselves. It's amazing what the mind can do. Now, with the curse of King Tut, as you all know, when he opened up the door to King Tut's tomb, there was a seal on there, and it basically cursed anybody that would walk past this door. They broke the seal anyways. They didn't care. They just wanted to get in there and see King Tut. And I can understand why. It's exciting. It's cool. But right after that, the main men that went into that tomb died. And it wasn't very long after, sometimes 6 weeks. I think there was even one that was just about a year later. But they all mysteriously died, and they didn't understand why. So come to find out years and years and years later, everybody's horrified of the the curse of King Tut. And they didn't want to go near the stuff. They didn't want anything to do with it.
Thousands of movies.
Yeah, because they thought that they were going to die from it. However, what it turned out to be was no more than just some bad fungus that was inside of the tomb from being sealed for all those years, that when it opened it up, it caused respiratory failure and killed people. So it wasn't a curse at all. But there are always going to be those people that are believing that, well, we made it through the door, they shouldn't have been in there anyways, they were breathing the air, which was part of the curse. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. The curse doesn't say how you're going to die. The curse didn't say how it was going to work. It just said that you were going to be cursed and people were going to die.
Okay. You want my snappy response to that?
Absolutely. Here, snap away.
All right. Well, I agree with you 100%. But if you were going to do a curse, why wouldn't you put a spore inside the chamber that that will kill someone?
Right.
And if you want to prevent someone to coming into the tomb and saying, I want this to last forever, and I'm going to put this in here, and whoever comes in here is going to die. Is that still not a curse?
That would be more murder, I would think.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because
sure.
Curses are supposed to be supernatural, things that we can't control. It's controlled by some outside deity or some outside, demon or some supernatural way of doing it. Now, I could walk down the street tonight, stub my toe on a rock out there, get some type of fungus that hits out my body and kills me. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a curse. It just means I was stupid and in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, I'm going to violently disagree with you. I'm going to say that go back to our definition. A curse is expressed wish that some form of adversity or misfortune will befall or attach some entity, person, place, or object. All right, we have the Egyptians. They are highly spiritual people. We know that, correct?
Right.
We also know that their idea of the afterlife is very different than most cultures that we know of today. They believe that everything that they leave behind in the tomb goes with them to wherever they go.
Right.
All right, so you're going to do everything you want to do to protect it. So my sense is curse it. Whether you're doing it for whatever reason, if they blatantly put those spores there in that thing, aren't they doing a curse, which is making it so that adversity or misfortune befalls whoever walks in there?
Right.
The full definition of a curse.
How would they know that fungus would kill somebody over years?
Okay, I can say I don't know the answer to that, but neither do you know that they didn't know.
No, that's true. However, I do know for a fact that that's not what happened. It actually came because of the arid temperatures and the way that the weather constructed over the time, and the humidity to the arid dryness. It allowed the spores to grow inside of the tomb, and because it hasn't been open for so many years, unlike the other pyramids, which probably would have had that had they been closed at the same amount of time in the same area, because this happened to just about every tomb over there, and not all of them were cursed. A couple other ones. So actually, this one was just more weather than anything else.
Okay, I'm going to violently disagree with you.
Okay.
Taking it a step further, you're saying that these spores were figment of weather. That
Yes.
They are coming in and they grew over time. If you're going to curse a building, and let's take the example of a witch trying to dry up a cow, saying, we talked about that, say the hexing.
Right.
Okay, so could it not be the manifestation of the curse that they themselves put on the room?
I would guess maybe. I can't say
Ha!
for sure.
So, you can't say that it's not a curse. It's like everything we talk about, Jason. You can't say ghosts are real, but you can't say they exist.
Right.
So how can you say that curses don't exist in some form? And you yourself said that if you believe it enough in your mind, now this I agree with 100%, that a curse is nonsense unless you're going to believe it.
Right.
If you just go, this is nonsense, this is absolute absurdity, then you're not going to have a curse. But if you believe it enough, you can make it happen.
Right. And I have an example of something like that, too.
All right, let's hear your example.
My family had a curse on it for many, 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 many years. I got to the point where we knew about it, and I physically caused myself to also believe in that same curse. Now, the curse was that every firstborn male in my family would be cursed with bad luck, misfortune, and complete loss of everything that we own, health, everything. Now, granted, I do have some health problems. I'm not rich. I have been taken advantage of, and people have lied to me and stolen from me and stuff like that. But it also has happened to my father. It's happened to my father's firstborn male. I was the firstborn male. My brother seems to be able to get out of anything that is thrown his way. But when I stopped believing that would happen, it stopped happening to me. All I had to do was just stop believing it. And I think that was part of the hysteria of it all. Now, my family still believes in it, and they still live by it. Now, why my brother was immune to it, I don't know. But I do know that there are some people out there, it doesn't matter if they're cursed or not, they can step in a pile of crap and come out and it be completely clean. Their body's completely clean, where I'd step on it and I'd have it all the way up to my head, to my ears, So I don't, there's two situations there that could be happening. Now, like I said, I'm the firstborn male. I've had struggles through my whole life, but I don't know anybody that hasn't. And it's just a matter of how you deal with those struggles. If you let it take you out, you let it beat you down, of course you're not gonna succeed. And that was one of the things that no matter what happened to me, I never let it take me out, and I continued to work. Now, I had to probably work harder than some other people may have, but that's okay. I got a lot of stuff that I'm very proud of and I'm very happy for, and it didn't come easy, but it worked out.
I have a story. It supports what you're talking about. Well, here, let me read this story.
Okay.
Justin believes that he has been haunted by the curse of a witch. Yet he isn't sure how much of his encounter is real or how much is a product of his young imagination. At about 9 years old when this all began, he was a member of a scout troop that was winter camping in the woods of northern Massachusetts. Naturally, the older Boy Scouts enjoyed scaring the younger scouts with spooky tales, of which one was about an old witch who lived and died in those very woods. In fact, her cabin stood nearby. They even set off into the snow-covered woods to find the cabin. Of course, imaginations running wild, we were all excited and filled with fear, remembers Justin. The woods can make for a lot of strange noises that could have been just small animal, fallen trees and branches settling or breaking in the wind. Then Justin says he saw something unusual. I looked outward through the gnarled branches in the distance and had to squint my eyes to try and focus, because I kept thinking I was seeing something, he says. Then I realized what I was looking at. I could feel it watching me, as if its stare pierced me with knives. It was horrible. What I saw looked to be an old woman, but looked like she was part of the woodlands, like part of a tree. Her face was tannish brown, and her hair was mixed with silver, gray, and white, looking more like twigs, like those on a birch tree, wrapped in white bark. The eyes. Well, I could never see the eyes. They were really dark, maybe hollow. Her mouth was unnoticeable, and I stared, frozen. I kept seeing it move fast, like some mad beast romping through the woods around its prey. The witch that Justin saw was surely just an illusion, yet he soon began to experience her curse for the intrusion on her property. Justin turned and fell flat face onto the ice, severely cutting his bottom lip with his teeth, requiring stitches at the nearest hospital. The curse did not end there, however, and returned full force when Justin was 19 years old. The Witch of the Woods haunted Justin's dreams that were startlingly vivid and terrifying. In each of the successive dreams, she appeared closer to him. When I felt her presence, I felt like so much hate and rage, Justin said. I don't know if it was towards me or simply in general, but I have never felt such hate in my life, and such fear and dread of something as I did to her. The dreams and visions of her continued off and on, vexing Jason for nearly 2 years before they finally subsided. When Justin turned 23, they returned. Everything about her was the same, he says. I was at a point in my life being retrospect and observant of things around me and my past. So I began to realize the last time I saw her, a string of bad luck ensued on me. In these past few years since the last dream, she was even closer than all the others. My wife and I have been in constant misery, economically, mentally, physically, as if our physical and mental beings are deteriorating, and it hits us one thing after another on top of another. Inside, it has become like despair, like something inside of me eating away at trying to break my will and my spirit. The witch constantly haunts us in our minds now, whether it's my imagination putting face to something I'm unaware of, or if it's truly some sort of curse. I do not know. All right, Jason, after hearing that story, and that is terrifying to me that he let this go on this long, curse or something else?
I believe that that's actually a little bit more paranormal than it is a curse. And I'll tell you why. I heard something similar to that on a story called Ghostly Encounters, where this guy, he was actually a child, and his class went to a history museum in upstate New York. And when he went there, he was lured to this mummy, and when he saw this mummy, it almost like possessed him. And supposedly it would continue to do horrible things to him all throughout his life. And when he moved away, it stopped, but when he came back, it actually possessed him. Now, it was, when he asked for its name, it was actually one of the gods that they would pray to that would protect the dead. Now, it wasn't necessarily a curse, but they called upon this deity to protect the dead and help walk them through the afterlife safely. And technically, this is what this thing was doing. But in this case, it was an actual demon that was called upon and considered a god by the ancient Egyptians. Now, he found it by the same thing. He saw the witch and it possessed him. Well, he saw this mummy and it possessed him. It attached itself to him. So I'm having a feeling I think it's more paranormal than it would be a curse, because paranormal can also act like a curse, where it can cause you to have things happen to you and trip and do bad things to you and hurt you and destroy your family. Because I've seen paranormal people that live in haunted houses, their families break up, their mind escapes them. So that may very well be a paranormal thing. It may not be a curse at all, but it does have a lot of curse-like qualities to it.
Well, let me just say this about it. What I see is a kind of a progression here, where he is talking himself more and more into this being a curse. Yes. And maybe not even owning up to problems in his own life. Now, we obviously don't know Justin. I have no idea. All we have is his name, and I don't even know if this story is real, to be honest. What I do know is that if it is real, here he is, 9 years old, and then it starts hitting at 19. Well, 19 is that strange age that, if you'll remember way back then, it is that age where things are starting to happen to you, where you're having to make life choices.
Yes.
And for some people, that becomes impossible.
Yeah.
And so maybe the stress of having to make those decisions, will I go to school? Who will I marry? What kind of career am I going to have? All of those are weighing heavy on a 19-year-old.
Absolutely.
Whereas, you take your kid that's still in high school or before, and they're worried about, what they're going to have for dinner that night. Is it going to be hamburgers or stew? Another thing is, okay, so then they go away again, and then they return when he's age 23. I'm guessing, this is just me now, I don't know, but I'm guessing something happened, something triggered, and he again became vexed. And notice I said vexed, not hexed.
Right.
And I think some things changed in his life, and he himself said that she's getting closer and closer to him. Well, maybe it's not. It's just that he's allowing this to seep in, that he is not accepting responsibility for what's going on with his bad luck.
That is very possible. Absolutely.
And in your case, you said that, you yourself and your family, going back to your personal family, it wasn't, you have decided that you're not accepting that there's any kind of family curse, that stuff happens.
Right. And it does. And like I said, I dwelled on it. It was bothering me so much that I dwelled on it. And it's like, that's how curses can survive, because, it's amazing what your brain can do.
When I said I violently opposed what you said before,
yes,
I don't violently oppose it. I think we're on the same page, really, because the bottom line is, I think that there is a possibility that some curses, given the right elements, are in fact curses. Mm-hmm. And let me go back to my to King Tut example. Actually, it was your example, but I stole it. Sorry about that. The whole idea of the tomb being cursed, well, there's spores there. Isn't that a curse based on the definition of a curse?
Yes, it can be.
No, I mean, it literally is. Now, did the Egyptians have anything to do with that curse? You say no. I say I don't know.
Yeah. There are some things about it, too. It's like the curse didn't tell you what it was. That's the thing. Most curses will tell you that it's death and stuff like that. But people are going in it today and not dying.
Well, don't they have ventilators and stuff in those now?
Yeah, they do. But still, if it was cursed, people couldn't go into that tomb and make it out alive.
No.
Because the curse would not be broken. It would still be there.
True. So you're saying, okay, I don't think you're saying this, but you're saying the curse is now broken, but before you said it wasn't a curse at all.
Well, what I'm saying is that that's why I don't believe it was a curse, because if it was truly a curse, it wouldn't be removed by one person or two people dying. They wouldn't be able to get around the curse. The curse would affect everybody that goes inside of it.
I see.
Because that was to protect the King Tut from whatever harm may be happening to his body or interrupt life. Yeah, tomb robbers. And yet it doesn't. It hasn't stopped. In fact, now you can even go in there without a mask at all. So that's why I'm saying if that was really truly a curse, I think that something else would have happened. Like, I don't know, maybe they slip and fall out of a 10-story building, abruptly. It's like, how did that happen? That would make more sense, and everybody would die in different ways. But they all died in the same way, and it stopped. And if it was truly a curse, I don't believe it would stop, because I don't ever remember reading anything where somebody went in there and did a anti-curse type of spell to release it.
That we know of. All right. I will concede that point 100% because you're right. A curse would be long-lasting. Let's look at the example. We talked about it briefly. The Hope Diamond.
Yes, that's cool.
Okay. So, the Hope Diamond has been around 1.1 billion years. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I knew it was a long time. I just didn't know how long.
1.1 billion years. It is estimated to be worth between $200 and $250 million.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Now, it has been all over the world, but currently sits in the Smithsonian Natural History. Can I say that real?
Yes, you may.
It currently resides... I can't say it like that. It currently resides in the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. And most people believe that it is cursed. Now, you know what they base that on? Whoever's owned it has suffered disgrace, divorce, suicide, imprisonment, torture, financial ruin, lynching, or decapitation. Now, I don't want to own the Hope Diamond. What do you say about that?
Well, see, that's what I really find interesting about the Hope Diamond, because technically, wouldn't the people in the museum be having the same type of situation because they're exposed to it all the time?
They don't own it.
Somebody has to own it right now.
Okay, one more step on it. They don't own it, and they don't wear it.
Is it only people that have ever worn it, or just people that have... Because I heard that the mailman that delivered it died, too.
I didn't see any mention of that. There was one person that was ripped apart by dogs.
Wow, what a vision for that.
Yeah. Well, if you notice, every once in a while, the hellhounds are coming in here and panting. But, maybe they would love the Hope Diamond. But anyway, no, but it's rumored that whoever wears it suffers the curse.
Now, was this ever, do you know of anybody that ever placed a curse on the Hope Diamond?
There is nothing that says...
Because this is one of the things that I don't know if it's a curse or not. It has every spout of the curse, and like you said, everybody that has owned it has died. You can't deny that fact.
And horribly. Not died. We've got, I'll go through them again. We've got a disgrace, a divorce, a suicide, imprisonment, torture, financial ruin, lynching, and decapitation.
That's a pretty broad things for sure. But honestly, anybody that could own anything could end up having a divorce or bad circumstances. That doesn't necessarily make it the diamond. But it is ironic that everybody that has had it has something like that. I would say that the curse would probably be more about the death or the decapitation or the lynchings of it. But if somebody knows that you own a diamond that expensive, you're just asking to be robbed sometimes. And unfortunately, you don't necessarily
that's a good point.
You don't necessarily mean to say, hey, I got this diamond, come rob me. But people are jealous. And, I've seen people get killed for a loaf of bread. So,
yeah, that's not...
there could be... It does have a lot of curse parts to it, and everybody that has had it has had some type of major stuff happen to them. But if it is truly cursed, and if I heard it right, I gotta do some research on that because I did not look that up, but I do remember something about the mailman delivering it. He did not know he was delivering the Hope Diamond, and he was supposedly killed. Now, if that's the case, and he only touched it, Why hasn't happened to anybody in the Smithsonian? I mean, did they protect it with like some salt or something like that to, keep the curse away? I mean, why would it just stop because it's there? And technically, wouldn't everybody there, if that's the case with the mailman, before it was in private collections, with the mailman now, wouldn't everybody that went near that have something happen to them?
You would think so, but like I said, I have not got any record of a mailman. And currently, while it's owned by the Smithsonian, it's in a case. It is not being touched,
Yes.
and it's not being worn.
But somebody had to put it there. So how did they get it there, and did that person die? Or
Well,
did that...
and again, the whole mythology claim is that whoever, misfortune and misery will befall any who dare wear the 45.52 carat diamond. That's a lot of carats.
Well, here's another thing. The Smithsonian is in Washington, D.C., right?
Correct.
Now we know what's wrong with Washington, D.C.
Or we know how to solve the problem.
That's right. Get rid of the diamond.
No. Give the diamond to who you want to get rid of.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. But to me, that is a well-documented, hey, this is what we know about this diamond. Mm-hmm. And that sounds like a curse to me.
Yeah, it has all the markings of a curse on there. It's just a matter of, I would like to know a little bit more about it. What did anybody ever curse it? Did that mailman really exist? Did that really happen? I think I saw that actually. They did a thing about mysteries in the museum about that. If I can find that episode, I'd love to go back and look at it because I think that's where I heard about the mailman.
Well, let's see. You know what? That's not something I'm going to be able to do. I am looking at a picture of it right now. Mm-hmm. Wow, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful things I think I've seen in terms of it is put on a chain, so you wear it around your neck. It's huge.
Yeah.
It emits a red glow.
It is amazing. It is an amazing piece of art all the way through. But somebody had to make that. Did the maker die?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It was stolen, and it was stolen in 1792 and then made a reappearance in 1806. The beheading was none other than Maria Antoinette. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe that would... It certainly has quite the history. I'm looking through it here.
It does.
I guess that maybe we could do a whole show on the Hope Diamond, just looking at all of the information that's here. Uh-huh. I just don't know. I don't know. Is it cursed? Could be.
No. I don't know. But if anything gave me a curse, that would be probably the one that would change my mind.
The Hope Diamond?
Yep.
Well, it wasn't my intention to change your mind on curses. My intention is to kind of throw a monkey wrench in there because it does fall into the category of, going back to our definition again, is something that has attached misfortune and or adversity to an entity, person, place, or object. Mm-hmm. This is definitely an object. So, is it the cause of it, or is it just one unlucky stone? I don't know. It's lucky right now that it has a wonderful life sitting there in a case, sitting on top of a dais, and just being there for all of us to look at and go, aww.
That's right. Just don't touch the case.
I bet a lot of people do, just to play with it.
But then you might have the misfortune of being shot by the people that are protecting that diamond too.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they might have a word or two to say about it. All right. So I think what we're saying, let's go back to Justin for just a minute. We're saying not curse, correct?
No, I don't believe so.
Now, we're saying Jason Dowd, not cursed.
Not cursed.
Bad luck, whatever, not cursed.
No.
But we're saying Hope Diamond? Don't know.
Plausible.
Don't know. I think that's a good way to leave it because, Jason, I don't think you can lock a curse down. You go back, we've all seen the stuff from Louisiana, the voodoo dolls, the haunted dead, which are supposedly zombies, and these are all things that are real, but are they real in the sense that these people are cursed? Or are they real in the sense that these people believe they cursed? Or are they real in the sense that there is some chemical used to put them into these various states?
Yeah, we don't know. That's what we got to find out.
So, Jason, before we leave this subject, here I want to leave you with two thoughts.
Okay.
I think that curses are real as we want to make them real. But I think there has to be something to looking at the paranormal side. Let's take, for example, what if a demon inhabited Hope Diamond? We already know that demons, at least for me, they're real enough. And I think that you have absolutely no problem saying that they are real. That there is a spiritual warfare going on us, around us, all of the time. Mm-hmm. You agree with that, correct?
I do agree with that, yes.
So if for some reason an object is possessed by a demonic creature, then why can't we take that and say that thing is cursed?
Depends on how you look at a curse, but I would say that that's more possessed than a curse. Like I said, any you can believe anything's a curse that you want to, and all it takes is it's like a fire. A bonfire starts out with a spark and oxygen, and if the right elements are there, it can definitely be considered a curse to whoever wants to believe it is.
I think that's as far as we're going to get on it because
yep.
We're saying the same thing. I think we believe the same thing, but yet I'm willing to accept that there is a possibility for a curse to be present.
Right.
And I think there's one thing though that we can both agree on.
What's that?
Curses are a bad thing.
Yes, they are bad. They're terrible bad.
And you don't even want to wish a curse on your worst enemy.
No. But whatever it is, if you do believe you're cursed, try to find somebody that will help you get rid of it. Because, maybe it's a mental thing that helps you release it from your own mind or whatever, but there are ways out of whatever it is. Even if you are haunted by something, you can get out of it. So don't sit there and accept it either.
No, I think that's Justin's problem. If we're, no, seriously. I mean, I think he's accepted that he's cursed, and he's just saying, "Woe is me," and he's just going to live his life until he dies, and he's going to be a miserable human being. And that is a choice that we don't need to make, because you're right. There are many ways to ask for help.
Yep. And don't be afraid. It's not just because you believe you're cursed. Now, there are going to be some people out there that are going to say you're crazy. I will never say anybody's crazy because there is some merit to everything that's out there. The problem is finding out what it is and fixing it. And if you believe that you can be fixed, then it can be fixed.
I believe they all could be fixed. Mm-hmm. The answer for the Hope Diamond is to keep it locked in the Smithsonian.
Right. Don't touch it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and nobody does anymore. All right, Jason, well, we do have a story today, and it is a good one. It even follows the topic of the day. It's called The Curse of Camo Shack, and it comes from the folks at Suspense. So why don't we wind this up, and either maybe we'll end up continuing our discussion on curses, or maybe we'll just talk about how good this program is. I don't know, Jason, but let's listen to this. It comes from us from March 22nd, 1962.
And now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. In a moment, Act 1 of The Curse of Kamashek, starring Ian Martin as Turnbull, and written especially for Suspense by Jonathan Bundy.
Yes, what is it, Walden?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Turnbull, but I thought you would like to know...
Yes, well?
Well, it's your nephew, sir. Mr. Donald Ransom.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, his car has just come into the driveway.
It has, huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, what the devil does that impractical young wastrel want this time?
But I'm sure I don't know, Mr. Turnbull.
Well, I think I do.
Yes, sir.
I think he wants some more extra money from his inheritance to squander on that nonsensical research and experimentation he's been doing over at the university, on those ridiculous journeys to heaven knows where in search of heaven knows what.
Yes, sir.
Money, money, money. Well, he won't have it.
No, sir.
Not as long as I have any legal right to the management of it. And then, after all, we do have to look out for ourselves, don't we? Of course we do. Well, don't we, Walden?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course we do, sir. Yes,
Of course. So go out and meet him at the door. Tell him that I'm not in, that I've... Well, Donald, come in, come in.
Oh, here you are, Uncle Frederick. I thought I heard your voice in here. Hello, Walden.
Mr. Donald.
Well, I'm glad to see you, boy. You should come and visit with me more often. Sit down, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
That'll be all for now, Walden. If I need you, I'll ring.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, my boy, how are you?
Feeling better than I've felt in a long time.
Splendid, splendid. And then you look it, too. But, now what's on your mind?
I've come to say goodbye, sir.
You've come to... What was that?
I've come to say goodbye to you. I'm about to leave on another expedition.
You're what?
Yes, sir. In just a few days now, I'll be leaving for Egypt.
Egypt?
Yes, sir.
I see. Do you mind telling me why you think you ought to embark on another of these silly, expensive expeditions?
Uncle, I've spent months now in reading and research at the museum, at the university, working with Horace Bracton.
And who is Horace Bracton?
Oh, he's the son of Mr. J. Harrison Bracton, the curator at the museum. What's more, he's one of the foremost students of Egyptology in this part of the country.
Yes, I see. All right, very well, go on.
Uncle, I am now convinced that I can locate the tomb of the ancient pharaoh Kamashek I.
Oh, you are you?
Yes, sir. I'd stake my life on it.
You mean if I let you go?
What?
Donald, to put it bluntly, I'm fed up with your wasting your time on these stupid, pointless wanderings all over the face of the earth. And I mean completely pointless.
That's not exactly the way the museum feels about them, Uncle. Nor several universities.
Well, that's the way I feel about them.
I'm sorry.
What's more, you're wasting not only your time, but your money. Money that your poor father spent a whole lifetime struggling to accumulate. And not for any such nonsense as this. You can be quite sure of that.
Father left me that money to spend in any way I might see fit.
Oh, he did, huh?
He certainly did.
Provided, Donald. Provided that your handling of it meets with my approval. Don't you forget that. When you're 30 and the estate passes completely into your hands, if you live that long...
Is that supposed to be a threat?
Take it any way you like. When you're 30, when the money is yours alone, very well, you can do anything you like with it. But until then, don't you forget for 1 minute that I am legally in control of it. All of it.
Well, you've opposed me in my plans for every one of my expeditions, haven't you?
I certainly have, and I shall continue to do
Do you mind telling me why?
For your own good, that's why.
Oh, I'm sure.
Don't be sarcastic, Donald.
Or is it your own good you're thinking of?
It is not. It's simply because sooner or later, boy, you've got to realize your responsibility. Realize that as the wealthy heir of a wealthy family, it's up to you to carry on a tradition that's been set for you, whether you like it or not. To increase the fortune that has made your family name and reputation, to build even greater financial power. Not to waste it, throw it away.
Do you call my contributions to science a waste of money?
Science? Rot. What do you know about science? Now, look, Donald. Believe me, my boy, there's nothing selfish in my attitude in this matter.
Oh, no.
I am thinking only of you, Donald. Of your future. And above all, of the fine family name, the family honor. But you alone are left to uphold that you must uphold, if for no other reason than respect for the memory of your father. Well, my boy?
Is that all, Uncle Frederick?
Well, it depends on you. Are you going to give up this asinine plan?
No.
What do you mean, no? Now, you listen to me.
Regardless of what you may say or think, I'm going to Egypt.
I said you listen to me, young man.
I made all my plans, obtained the sponsorship of the museum, thanks to Horace Brackton.
Donald, I'm
So if
not...
this tirade is simply because you thought I might want more of my inheritance, Uncle Frederick, well, you can stop worrying about it
and
right now.
I tell you that you're not going on this ridiculous expedition.
And I tell you that I am. There's nothing you can do or say that will stop me.
Oh, there isn't, huh?
No. Goodbye, Uncle Frederick.
Why, you insufferable young imbecile. Sit down and listen to me.
Sorry, I must go now.
Sorry, huh? Well, you will be sorry. What's the matter with you? Have you lost your senses?
I think I've finally come to my senses.
Donald Ransom, have you forgotten that I am in a position to cut you off from your inheritance, cut you off entirely, if I wish to?
I'm fully aware of that, Uncle Frederick. But if you think I care, you're entirely wrong. Goodbye, sir.
Then, by heaven, I will cut you off. Well, you hear me?
I hear you.
So help me, Donald. I've tried to avoid this. Believe me, I have. I have shown more patience toward this arrogant behavior of yours than I thought I had. But your idiotic bullheadedness, your utter disregard for your responsibility for the importance of your family name and social status, in spite of all I've tried to do, well, by heaven, I will have you cut off without one single solitary... Wait a minute, I said! Where do you think you're going?
Egypt!
You'll be sorry, Donald. You don't know how sorry you'll be. Well, Walden, what's all that you have there?
A package and a letter, sir. It came for you by special post. By special delivery, as you call it.
From where?
From Egypt, sir.
Egypt? Well. I've been expecting a letter from him. 3 months now, isn't it, that he's been gone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Walden, I knew very well that the money Donald had to beg for that stupid expedition would soon run out. So now he wants some more.
Well, I'm sure I don't know, sir.
Well, I do, and Walden...
Yes, sir. Yes,
you can take that letter out and burn it.
But the handwriting on it, sir, it doesn't look to me like...
the package... Well, all right, let me have it. We'll see what's in it.
Yes, sir. Here you are, sir.
Probably some completely useless relic or souvenir that he picked up, sent along in the hope it might influence me into sending him money. Well, I assure you that it won't. I made my position clear when he walked out of here. And I don't intend to change it.
Mr. Turnbull, the handwriting on this letter...
Yes, I know, Walden. You've always been sympathetic towards some of his silly ideas, huh? Perhaps even hoped that I would help him. Now, don't worry, I won't. Let me see now.
But this was apparently written by somebody else other than...
Irresponsible young idiot. Look at this. Look at it, Walden.
Why, yes, sir, I see.
What is this? Donald's crude idea of a practical joke? This dirty old piece of some kind of dried up old bone?
It's from a human body, sir. And very, very old.
So this is the sort of nonsense Donald has been wasting his time and our money digging up out of the dirt and sand over there in Egypt. By heaven, I've said it before, and I say it again, Walden.
Yes, I know you have, sir. I know you
have. Now, don't you get out of line.
No, sir.
That letter, where's the letter?
Yes, sir. Here, sir. But as I started to say, sir, that handwriting is...
Mr. Turnbull. Oh, I see. It's signed by Horace Brackton.
The young man he spoke of who went with him.
Oh, yes, I remember. Walden, listen to this.
Yes, sir.
Dear Mr. Turnbull, a few minutes before he died, your
What?
nephew, Donald Ransom...
Oh, dear. What a misfortune, sir.
Donald. Dead.
My deepest sympathy, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You can keep your sympathy to yourself, Walden.
I beg your
I don't-
pardon, sir.
Just forget it and go answer the door.
Well, sir, but... yes, sir.
I knew it. I knew I was right. And now, by heaven, this proves it. Now, let's see. Your nephew, Donald Ransom's last request was that I send you a section of the femoral bone from the skeleton of the pharaoh Kamashek that he recovered from the tomb near the ancient city of Giza. As you no doubt have been informed, he died of some as yet completely
Sir.
Yes, what is it now?
Your pardon, sir.
Yes, Walden.
Mr. Harrison Bracton, the father of the young man who sent the letter.
Oh. All right, send him in.
Yes, sir. Right in here, sir.
Thank you.
Ah, come in, Mr. Bracton. Come in.
Thank you, Mr. Turnbull.
You, may as well sit down, I suppose.
Thank you. And before we go any further, I must tell you how distressed I am about your nephew's death.
Yes. Now, let's see. You're over at the museum, aren't you?
Yes, I am the curator of osteology.
Osteology. That's the study of bone, I believe.
Yes.
Well, and here, take a look at this. Even in his last moments, my recalcitrant nephew chose to mock me by sending me this bone.
I know. From the remains of the pharaoh Kamashek, it's most exciting, isn't it?
Exciting.
I'll be honest with you. It's why I came, in the hope I might be allowed to see it.
See it? Well, take it. It's yours for that stuffy museum you live in.
You mean it?
Well, I certainly don't want it around here, do I?
Oh, I see. Then you believe it, too.
Believe in what? What are you talking about?
The curse, Mr. Turnbull.
The curse?
Yes, that may have accounted for the strange death of your nephew, the curse of Kamashek.
Oh, you can't be serious, Bracton. You mean to sit here, you, a supposedly intelligent man, and... oh, no, I don't believe it.
Have you forgotten what happened to the men who violated the tomb, who touched the remains of King Tutankhamun, knowing about the curse on them?
Well, that's absurd, ridiculous. You really believe in such rubbish?
I'm not sure.
Well, I am. It's utter nonsense, superstition. So here, take this worthless piece of bone along with you and get out of here.
No, I would hesitate to touch it, sir.
Oh, you would,
Yes,
huh?
yes.
Well, do you want it for that second-rate museum of yours?
My second... Well, of course.
All right, then, here. I'll bundle these papers around it for you. Here you are, now take it and leave.
Mr. Turnbull.
But to think that you, the curator of a museum, would fall for such trash is almost beyond belief. Go along now.
Now, wait, sir,
I should have
please.
recognized you for the superstitious, doddering old fool you are the moment you stepped in here.
Listen to
now,
me.
get out of here, before I lose my patience. Get along. Curse of Kamashek, huh? I'd like to see it try to act on me. Ridiculous.
Yes?
Mr. Turnbull, I must see him at once.
Oh, Mr. Bracton, I believe.
Yes, Harrison Bracton. I was here to see him only a few days ago. Take me into him. Where is he?
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but I doubt if Mr. Turnbull is in this evening.
He must be. He has to be. I must
Now,
see
wait,
him
sir,
immediately.
please, wait. Please, sir.
Get
Wait,
out of
sir.
the way. I'll find him
I tell
myself.
you, he isn't into anyone this evening. Please wait, sir. Please.
What's going on around here? What's all this? Oh, you again.
Yes, it's I, Mr. Turnbull. I must talk to you.
Yes, so it would seem.
Well?
I'm terribly sorry, sir. I
That's
tried
all right.
to
It's
stop
all
him.
right, Walter.
Thank you, sir.
Well, what do you want this time, Mr. Bracton?
Here. Take it. Take back this accursed thing.
What?
I told you when you insisted I'd take it along with me. I told you there was a curse on it. The curse of Kamashek. Now it's proved itself.
Oh, Bracton, have you been to see a psychiatrist lately?
Please don't jest about this, Mr. Turnbull. I told you I didn't want to actually touch this terrible thing, nor have I, nor will I. And now, after what I've seen it do to those who have touched it, I don't even want it near me.
Oh, well, that sounds very intriguing, Bracton. Go on.
When I got it home, I placed it under a glass bell in one of the cabinets in my study. Very carefully, Mr. Turnbull, not actually touching it, not just using a pair of forceps.
Oh, nonsense.
That night, sir, it somehow forced its way out of the cabinet. The glass was broken into 1,000 pieces, yet no one was around who could possibly have touched it.
Oh, no,
The
ridiculous.
next morning, the housemaid, knowing nothing about the curse on it, picked it up in her fingers and placed it on a table.
Well?
Late that night, frantically running away from what she described as a living mummy, she fell headlong down the stairs leading from her room on the third
Oh,
floor.
now, Bracton,
She
this
is
nonsense.
still in the hospital, Mr. Turnbull.
And all because of this poor little bone. My.
Listen to me. You must listen to me.
Oh, I am listening.
The doctor who attended her... Oh, why I did it, I shall never know.
Well, it what?
I let him take the bone with him to study it. In 2 days, Turnbull, that man, one of the finest in his profession, had to be committed to an institution as a raving maniac, babbling wildly about a phantom that pursued him, a phantom he described as looking like a mummy.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Bracton. I've heard enough of this. Do you mean to tell me that a man of your so-called intelligence, that you can possibly take a thing like this seriously? That you can really believe a chunk of bone could have caused these things you've told me about? If they really did occur?
It was you who inflicted this thing on us, Turnbull. And here, now you have it back.
Bracton,
I can only hope and pray that I may never see it again.
You honestly believe that
I tell you, sir, those things are incontrovertible proof of the curse it carries.
And I tell you, sir, that you're nothing but a superstitious, doddering old fool. What's more, I'll prove it to you. Let me have the package. Here now.
Wait a minute. What are you going to do? Turnbull!
Well?
Surely you don't intend to touch that bone.
Why, I thought that's why you brought it here. So I could feel the curse of it, too.
Yes, I did, because I was angry and upset.
Very well, then.
But you mustn't.
Now, aren't you getting a little tired of being foolish about this thing?
Please, I beg of you.
There. Satisfied now?
Look.
Now, watch me. I'll even hold it in both my hands. Rub it against my face, my cheek.
Heaven help you.
Curse, did you say? Why, Bracton, you're crazy.
Turnbull, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know.
You bet I do, Bracton. I'm simply proving once and for all that the only people who are affected by these silly, stupid, childish superstitions are those who believe in them, and I don't. Now that you've seen me defy this so-called curse, you don't have any reason to either. And this will be the proof of it. You will touch it now.
No.
Here you are.
No, please.
I said you'll touch it.
Don't take it away.
Touch it.
I beg of you.
Will you stand still, you blithering... Stand still, you... No.
Quite frankly, Mr. Bracton, I don't understand it. I don't understand this at all.
You don't understand what, Doctor?
I had Turnbull in my office for a complete examination not more than 10 days ago. At that time, and I'm sure of it, we overlooked nothing. His physical condition was perfect. But now, well, there's only one way I can report this.
Yes, Doctor.
Death due to natural causes.
Natural causes?
Yes.
No.
No? Now, what do you mean by that, Mr. Bracton?
Nothing, I suppose. Nothing at all.
Suspense. You've been listening to The Curse of Kameshek, starring Ian Martin as Turnbull, and written especially for Suspense by Jonathan Bundy.
Well, Jason, in terms of scary, they kind of did all the scary stuff on that one from afar, but it still had that feel of terror.
Yes, it did.
I tried to find a true Pharaoh's type curse thing, but they were all too long, and I had to take that into consideration. Did you like this one as much as I did?
I did actually like it a lot. It was really well done. I liked the suspense that they put into it, and I liked how the ending came out.
Do you think that Suspense really captured it in terms of the mood and what a curse is all about? I thought that they really did. A curse is something that happens, and in this case, we're led to believe that it was caused by these bones. Was it?
Well, I believe so. I mean, that's the way that they made it seem to be. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way it is. I mean, we look at some of these other things that we saw from ancient Egypt and how they played out. It wasn't a curse at all.
Yeah, exactly. The acting on this was above and beyond good. I mean, what else can you describe it? The father was someone I really liked to hate right away. I kept thinking the whole time, please let me in there and let me throttle the guy.
Yeah, I know the same. I felt the same way. He was very annoying.
He was. I don't even know that. Well, you know what got me? If it is his son's money, right?
Right.
Did you get the impression that he didn't care, that he wasn't going to give his son his own money to do what he wants, and that was his father's wish? That's why his father worked so hard. Not the family, the father.
Right. But you know what? We always have that one uncle or that one family member that steps in because not only does it put power over it, but you know damn well somehow they're trying to figure out a way of getting that money for themselves.
I think that was the key to this story. So, did the curse kill him or his own greed?
Probably his own greed.
I don't know, but it was a great story, and Suspense was one of those great classic series that really knew how to tell a good story, and they hit a home run with that. Not particularly scary, but not unscary. It just goes to show with what I said earlier, and that is, you don't want to be cursed.
No, I guess you don't.
Well, Jason, I think that's enough talking about the curses for today. I guess in closing, I'm just going to say curses are bad. What do you say?
Curses are bad. Well, you hit the nail on the head of that one. But yeah, they are kind of bad. But like I said, I don't truly believe in curses either. I think that the power of the curse comes from the mind and what you want it to allow it to do. So,
and like I said, I agree with you 100% with some caveats. All right. Well, Jason, we got mail, and a lot of people have told me that they absolutely love the mailbag portion. So what do you say we get right to it?
Yep, I got a letter right here. As you are talking, I will unwrap it here. This one is from Mark. He said, I discovered your podcast about a month ago, and I must say that I love it. I love the old-time radio shows, and I especially like the Horror Express. Thank you for your hard work that you do in order to entertain us and inform us listeners. I wanted to tell you that the mention of the Mary Celeste in your July 14th broadcast about the Bermuda Triangle was somewhat incorrect. The Mary Celeste was discovered by the British brig Dio Gracia about 400 miles east of the Azores. It was not found in the Bermuda Triangle. Only one crew disappeared, not two. The Mary Celeste was sailed to Gibraltar after it was found. I came across a story of the ship in the Smithsonian Magazine article. Please do not consider this criticism of your podcast. I love your work and greatly appreciate what you do. I just thought you would like to know. Sincerely, Mark.
I screwed up.
What'd you do?
Well, I screwed up. That was me. I don't know. When we were doing that bit, I was looking at all of the different things that I had done for my research. And I know what I did on that one. I took 2 different stories and put them together and assigned them to the Mary Celeste. So, my apologies, Mark. And I'm glad he told me. I mean, I'd rather be corrected than be wrong and then have everybody out there going, what an idiot. So, my apologies, and that was my fault, not Jason's. 100% me.
Well, your egg on your face this time. Hopefully I won't get any here in a little bit, but we never know. We never know what we pull out of this bag, so let's keep going here. I have a tweet from Marion B. It says, on the next Horror Express, can I please ride with the Hellhounds? They do sound sweet.
Okay, no way. This is not going to happen, Jason. The insurance alone will kill us. I mean, they will absolutely shut us down. This is not something we can do. What, Jason? No, we got to tell them we can't do this.
I thought you said we could.
What?
Yes. Is that egg on my face this time?
Jason, well, at least she's not here. Let me tell you that. Was that a hellhound?
Possibly.
Jason, you better come clean right now. Tell me, what did you do?
Well, no, I plead the fifth.
No. Is that what I heard earlier? I thought it was maybe the conductor trying to sing again.
No, that was her.
She's in with the Hellhounds. Marion B., a listener to this program, is in with the Hellhounds as we speak.
Yes.
Okay, Jason, this is on you. I may have screwed up on the Mary Celeste. That I admit to. This is on you, man. And you're going to clean it up.
I will, but I guarantee you she's having a time of her life. Those things are doing something to her, and she's saying it's tickling, so we'll just go with that.
All right, that's on you. Do we have more mail? Please say. Please say we got something that isn't where 2 of us have screwed up.
Yes, we do. It says, we have a question for Jason about creepy photography. It comes from Harold Stone. I am a professor at an online photography school. I got a question from one of my students about doing creepy photography. They wanted to know how to approach their class project. I gave them a standard response of taking pictures is experimental, not learned. It can't be taught and must project the mood of the subject or subject matter. I've looked at your work and I want to know how would you answer the question? Well, he is right in a lot of that. I will say, the photo must be experimental. You cannot learn how to take photography. But whatever you're going to do with the photography, you got to put your heart and soul into it. You got to sell it. Generally, what I do is I find things that are inspiring to me. I go on, look on all types of gothic websites and horror websites. Sometimes I watch horror films or books. Anything that you can do to get your mindset into that type of genre. And then once you get into that genre, it's very, very, very important to do the best costume work that you can come up with. You got to have somebody that can A, sell the picture, B, have good costumes to make her sell the picture or him sell the picture, and have great special effects people that can do some great makeup. Believe it or not, most of the stuff I do was learned. I did it myself. Sometimes I had other people help me, but it wasn't always that way. But really do research. And if you do research, you will be able to put together something astronomical. And what I like to try to do when I take photos of creepy stuff is I don't try to just make it up. I actually try to go off of actual legends or something that people can relate to. Maybe they heard it in a campfire when they were camping, or eating s'mores or something like that. Or something that they heard through like a sleepover or something that would spark fear in you because it could be real. That's what I would tell them, how to do it, and just have fun. That's the most important part. Just have fun and get creative.
Well, and I'm going to go on record and say one of my favorite places to visit is your site. And the reason is because you're always doing something new. And like we talked about at the beginning of the show today, your new art from the Angel, that is just an absolute fabulous piece of work. And I can tell you that comes from experience and experimental.
Yes, it is. And it was completely experimental because I had to do that during the frickin' day. If you actually looked at that, the problem with it was is that we just couldn't find anywhere that was safe to go at nighttime and get that type of effect. So we went out there, and she was in broad daylight. And that just took a lot of creativity, trying to vision the picture before and after I shot it. So as she's shooting this, I'm trying to figure out in my head, how am I going to make this look like a nighttime creepy shot? And that's what I ended up having to do. And I just played around with some stuff, and bam, it came out.
You ever heard of Ansel Adams?
Oh, yes, I have.
You know that his famous shot of the monolith was a complete experiment.
Mm-hmm.
He just put on some filters to make it look like it was taken later in the day. And in fact, it was taken at the height of noon or something like that. It was just an amazing shot that still confounds us today. So, I love looking at pictures. I know we're spending a lot of time talking about this, but I'm not a great photographer, but I am a person that loves a great photograph.
And it can tell a lot of stuff. And every time you look at it, you can find something different in it. That's what a real photographer should be able to do. I know that they can do it. They just got to tap inside their inner brain. But like I said, engulf yourself in it. Do whatever it takes to scare you. Because if you're scared, you're going to sit there and look deeper into it than just somebody just go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go do a horror shoot. I'm going to do this real fast. Engulf themselves in it, and they will get a better result.
We have more?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's move on.
We have a question about podcasting. How can people like you guys talk so easy on air? I've tried podcasting, and it's so hard and sounds crappy. No one wants to listen to ums, and like that. Help a brother out.
Editing. That's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard, but it is tedious.
Okay.
Consuming.
It is, but in truth, I go through and I take out ums, and whatever else he asked about. Crappy sounds.
And you can spend hours doing it. Now, what you did with the Horror Express at the beginning of it and stuff, that is serious editing. That is just skillful right there. That's something I think you got to just learn and play around with too, like what my question was.
Yeah, well, in that case, you're right. There are some advanced techniques to be able to fade in, fade out, put the right, get everything balanced. That's an art form, really, if you really want to get right down to it, getting everything balanced. But what I'm talking about is a straightforward chat. If you go through and just listen to it and take a few of those and ums out, what you're going to end up with is a little bit better product. And that's just the truth of it. And a lot of people, when they're talking, no matter how intelligent or how smart they are, they have their own little quirks about how they're going to talk. And some people do, do the repeat the and, or they'll say, or they might say an Whatever it is, those can be removed and make your podcast sound better. That's just the truth of it. Think we can move on. And I'm looking forward to this next one.
Yes, let's see here. I wanted to share my Bermuda Triangle story. My name is Nacy. My husband and I take one vacation per year. We rent a sailboat for about 4 weeks and go where the wind takes us. 3 years ago, it took us off the coast of Florida. We headed out from Miami. The plan was to follow the chain of islands to the east and anchor off the coast of the Calicos Islands. On third day out, we lost all electrical power. We could find nothing wrong with the ship's systems and were forced to navigate old school. During that night, we heard sounds from around, under, and over the boat. For lack of better terms, it sounded like a syncopated dolphins. Also, we observed orbs flying all around us. There was no discernible pattern to these. It was eerie, yet somehow felt very safe. The next morning, the electrical system was completely normal and never hiccuped again. The rest of our trip went as planned. The Bermuda Triangle? Who knows? But we both experienced the same thing.
Love that story.
That is cool.
I mean, that is a Bermuda Triangle story if I've ever heard one. And it's very similar to what Christopher Columbus experienced. Mm-hmm. Strange sounds and odd lights.
Yep. And that's what I truly believe is a real orb, because like I said, orbs should not be seen through a camera. They should be seen by the naked eye, if they truly are disembodied packets of energy. So that's really cool.
And they said it was peaceful.
Uh-huh.
Not your typical story from the Bermuda Triangle, but still, I love this story. I love it, and I believe it because we've got Nacy telling us, and her ex-husband experienced it.
Right.
So you got two people that are saying this happened to us. So it's not like, you have somebody just writing something. This is two people out there. Now, could they have collaborated and come up with a story? Sure. But I don't believe that. I think this one's a good one. I think this happened.
I do, too. I truly believe this type of stuff happens. And I do believe it happens. And that's what's cool about it, because maybe we don't experience it, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Exactly. All right. Do we have more?
Yes, we do. We have one that says, the good news. So this must be good news, hopefully. Yay. Renabled tweeted, best podcast on the planet. I'm going to do everything I can to help promote it. Good stories, good topics. You guys are the best.
Love that one. I don't have anything to say. I agree.
Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay. And I
now the
suppose
bad.
there's bad news.
Yep, and no, the bad. All right, here he goes. The real and unreal. Come on, guys. If you're going to make a podcast, at least make it interesting. Also, your tackrupt of Sleepy Hollow is bloody awful. Get it together or your show will be canceled. Well, the only one that can cancel it is us, right?
Yeah. And by the way, I looked up that word you couldn't say, and I say taco report myself.
I like taco report.
Yeah, I'm going to say taco report. I have no bloody idea what he was talking about.
I think he'd be bloody drunk.
I think he might have been a little tipsy when he wrote this. I'm sorry you didn't like Sleepy Hollow. It wasn't our best work, but it wasn't our worst either.
No.
I think that if you want to get us canceled, please go ahead and contact, who is it that he has to call?
I think you.
Okay. Yeah, contact me and I'll cancel the show. And I'll do it right here and now.
Yeah, and you can talk to the give a damn meter too. It cares.
No, we care. He didn't like that, and that's all right.
No, that's true. I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's all right that if you don't like something, we want to hear about that too. If you're going to do that, you might want to say it in a little more constructive manner. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Tell us what you didn't like about it.
And also, what is a taco report?
I don't know.
Well, let's spell it for the listeners. TACORPT.
Yep.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't either. But if it's a word, I want to know what it means.
Yeah, me too. We'll leave that one at that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We got one last one to do. And it says, email comes from George in Wisconsin. And he writes, I am a big fan of the show. I notice that you have asked for stories, comments, and questions. My comment is, I would love to hear your thoughts on UFOs. This topic is really big right now, and a lot of people think that the government is preparing to tell us the truth. I am planning voting for Clinton in this next election. She has promised to tell us what the heck is going on. What do you guys think? Perhaps a show idea.
That is a show idea.
It is.
Have we done anything on UFOs?
I thought we did at one point in time, a while ago. But that doesn't mean we can't do another.
No, I always love the topic because a lot of it's very explainable now with all these drones out there and the government admitting that they've been playing with drones for years. A lot of what we could have been experienced is that still unidentified flying object. Mm-hmm. And so, and also, if you ever needed a reason to vote for Clinton, there's one. If she's truly wanting to tell us all about UFOs, hey, let's hear it.
That might be the only thing that she's believable on, because I don't believe anything that woman says. And honestly, if you believe that the government's going to tell you anything that's the truth, that's a big problem. I do not believe anything the government says. I never have. And after hearing so many things about Hillary Clinton, I don't even know if she would do that. I think she'd just do that to try to get a vote out of somebody.
Well, that's as good a reason to vote for her as I can think of. I'm on the side of the panel that I can't really find any reason to vote for either one of them, Trump or Clinton. Not that I want to get us started down a political side course here, or whatever you want to call it. I would love to know if the government is holding back information on UFOs, and I'll leave it at that.
We do know that they are. That's the problem, and they just don't want to say it for what any reason, I don't know. But I know that they've known for a long time. They're not going to say it. They're never going to say it. They were supposed to tell us 6 years ago what happened at JFK. Obviously, that didn't happen. So, what makes you think they're going to say something about a UFO?
I think they're worried about what we'll do as a people if we find out we're not alone in the universe.
Right.
So I think we'll leave it at this way and say, I like the idea of doing a show on UFOs.
I think we should do one.
All right. We will put it on the list. However, our next show, that's all the emails, yeah?
Yes, that is all the emails.
Well, let's talk about our next show, because we're doing a show that I personally am excited about, and I have a few stories to tell. We're going to do Sasquatch.
Yes, Sasquatch.
And so when you come back to the next Horror Express, get your big shoes on, ha ha ha, and get ready to talk about Bigfoot.
Yep.
Jason, you got anything to say to close the show?
No, actually I don't.
All right. That's odd. I do have one thing. We were talking about your photos, and let's just one time tell people where they can get a look at them.
Well, I would love that, because if art isn't seen, it isn't loved, and it doesn't live. So go to imaginationartstudios.com.
That's it?
That's it. Simple as that.
You know what I like about your site now, the new site?
What's that?
Is the fact that your art now is the backdrop for the whole site.
Yes.
And that just leads, you just get to your site and you're just kind of going, ee. Just like, literally, you just look at the site for a while. Just watch the pictures go by. Anyway, I love your site.
Thank you.
And if you want to talk to me, the easiest thing to do is to go to ronsamazingstories.com. And you can get everything you need to know to get a hold of me. Jason, it's been fun. I say we turn it over to the conductor.
I do too. Let's let him have his moment of fame, and we're out.
Well, thanks, guys, for another great show. But again, you've got it all wrong. Curses can be so very relaxing, therapeutic, and they are such fun. I once had a friend who made me quite angry. I cursed him with ants, and the problem was solved. Of course, he's no longer speaking to me, if you know what I mean. That's it for the Horror Express this time. If you have questions or comments for Jason, Ron, or myself, please email us at ronsamazingstories@gmail.com or tweet to @RASpodcast. Oh yes, now the bad news. There's no way off this train. You're gonna have to jump. Good luck, and see you next time on the Horror Express.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.